What is going on YouTube? So today we are going to do something a little bit different, and we are going to take a deep dive into how much YouTube money I made in 2019. Okay, so we are now officially in the year 2020, a whole new year, a whole new decade. And I thought it would be a neat idea to go over how much money on YouTube specifically I made in 2019, just as a whole, the whole year, just YouTube, how much YouTube money I made. Kind of got this idea, Austin Alexander did his video on how much money he makes as a military YouTuber. And so this is going to be as somebody who is currently at 158,000 subscribers, who gets roughly between 700,000 and a million views a month. How much money, a military YouTuber makes that is around about that ballpark area. But I'm kind of curious what y'all actually think I did end up making last year as far as Google AdSense is concerned, but we're just gonna jump right into it. Right now, I'm showing you guys the back end for YouTube if you didn't know what it looks like. Now we're gonna go ahead and check out my analytics, and right off the bat, it's gonna show us how much money and how many views and watch time and subscribers and all that stuff, revenue I've made in the last 28 days. If you look over here in the top corner, that's just YouTube does it in 28 days, 4 weeks or whatever, but you can, pick, how much range you want to do if you're specific and you're like, hey, I want to look at how much I made in a specific time frame, how much views I got. But anyways, we got the real-time views over here on the right, and that just shows the last 48 hours, how many views I've gotten. And then over here, the videos that have been giving me these views, and these aren't even current videos. One of the perks to setting up the channel, how I've done this, is I've set it up to where I don't have to necessarily upload every day or as consistently as I used to, because a lot of the older videos I've done, I set them up to be able to be viewed and made them to where people are going to want to watch them at a later date. So if you're a vlogger, you got to vlog every day in order to get paid, basically. And if it's a day that you don't upload as a vlogger, then the money that you're going to make on YouTube is going to be drastically less. In my case, it's a little bit more educational, so a lot of my older videos get a bunch of views into the future. So if I don't upload on a specific day, it honestly does not affect how much money I make that day. It'll literally, I might make 10 extra dollars that day if I upload it. If it's a really good video, I might get an extra $30, $40 that day from. So we're gonna kind of ramp it up here a little bit. So right now it's currently January of 2020, but so I'm not gonna really cover that. But January is always the worst for YouTubers because ad revenue is down because advertisers don't pay that much because Christmas is over. But let's just go ahead and tease you all with the 90-day outlook. All right, so with this going back 90 days, it is going back all the way through October. So the thing that you guys are gonna see here is kind of like these line graphs and line charts and stuff like that. And this is just views. And because I don't upload quite as much, views sometimes will go out and bottom out for me is around about 20,000 views. If I don't really upload anything at all, I usually kind of get about 20,000 views a day or so. If I'm uploading, that bumps up to about 30,000 or so views a day. But basically in the last 90 days, I made $11,344. Grant you guys that this is all before taxes, and you can expect to pay at least 33% of that in taxes. So you gotta make sure you set aside at least 33% of that, so it's more like $8,000. And now, without any further ado, let's just go ahead and jump to 2019. It's gonna show the whole year, the line chart, line graph of my views, and here we go. So in 2019, I had 9.9 million views, which is crazy. Literally almost 10 million. I just almost made 10 million. 9,918,074. Literally crazy. Gained 6,000 subscribers, and the grand total is $36,000 of how much YouTube money I made last year. Now, again, I don't know what you guys were thinking that I made, or if it was like, way more or way less than what you were expecting as far as military YouTubers goes. But with that being said, $36,000 of Google AdSense, this is all before tax. I haven't done my taxes yet, but on that $36,000, I'm gonna have to pay at least around about $12,000 in taxes on that. So effectively, last year, my take-home pay on YouTube money was $24,000 on 10 million views. Really, because I went to Fort Gordon for 4 months and I didn't really upload that much for those 4 months, this actually didn't turn out too bad, because right here at the beginning of the year, I left in February, and it wasn't until you come over here, if you guys can see this, until the beginning of June when I got back and I actually started uploading. So if you see these counts right here, there's a lot of gaps in here, because that basically means that I didn't upload during those periods of time. So the fact that I still made or got views right here, this is my revenue tab, so I just clicked on the revenue tab. Revenue was basically even, because I was barely uploading. I was uploading, at most once a week for those 4 months. Maybe I was uploading even once every 2 weeks. And so, I'll make like $60, $70 if I don't upload. And then once I start actually, making videos again, then, revenue goes up. And that's just kind of how it works. So kind of looking forward to 2020, because I am going to at least try to be a little bit more consistent. Now, the last thing that I want to cover, which is the determining factor on YouTube for really how much you're going to make on YouTube, honestly, even more than like your views, and that is your CPM. It's your cost per million, and it's not the cost per million views, it's actually cost per 1,000 views, and it's just the way the things work. So it may be a little bit confusing, but it's actually how much money you make for every 1,000 views, okay? So technically, if we just said this was 10 million and I made $36,000, then my personal CPM, how much I made per 1,000 views, was $3.60. Now, to put that in perspective, there are YouTube channels out there that make $5, $6, even $10 or more than $10 per 1,000 views. So if I was one of those channels, if I made $10 per 1,000 views on my YouTube channel with the CPMs and stuff, then this past year I would have made $100,000. So that is way drastically different than $36,000, which is really maybe a full-time income, kind of depending on where you live. If you live kind of in a lower income area, then you can get by on the $36,000 a year. But if you live in California, Seattle, New York, $36,000 a year isn't enough to live off of, which is why I still maintain another job on top of my Army Reserve. So I'm in the Army Reserves, I get paid for that. I got YouTube, so I get paid for that. And then I'm also now a part-time software developer, so I don't work full-time anymore. I at least do that part-time, and so that basically equals out how much I would be getting paid if I worked like as a full-time software developer. So jumping into the revenue tab over here, this is gonna be the last thing that I'm gonna show y'all. And this specifically shows your revenue over time and then your playback-based CPM. So playback-based CPM basically means that for every ad that was seen, right? So for every monetized view, for every view that has an ad, how much money you're getting paid. So again, last year, if you take, $7.35, and you have to basically divide it in half, I think it's 50% that YouTubers get. So YouTube gets $7.35, and then they give their creators, their YouTubers, about half of that, and then that's where you get your actual take-home pay from that. And so some people, playback-based CPMs can be like 20 bucks, and then that means that they're gonna get about 10 bucks every 1,000 views. And then also, this is actually a neat chart that I'm gonna show you guys over here. Top earning videos. So it's really interesting how you have some videos that are your top grossing videos that sometimes you don't even think that they're gonna be that. So like my reacting to my basic training video, I didn't think that that video was gonna do good at all, but the ad revenue from that was basically $1,300, which is just ridiculous that that happened, and I didn't even think it was gonna be a great video. But that's the thing with YouTube, you literally never know. And now the last thing that I wanna show you guys is the old YouTube back-end part that you guys don't get to see. This is actually gonna be pretty cool. So if you wanna see how much money I made, let's do this. Let's head back to 2019, last year. And then one of the things that I like to see with trends over time is you can do this weekly averaging. And then so here you can see how much I've made on a weekly basis and how that grew as number one right here. I started uploading again, and then this has fallen off because it's the new year. So this week isn't actually finished yet, but these past couple weeks, because it's the beginning of January, CPMs drop super low at this point in time, and then they'll start picking back up in a couple of months. But you can kind of see a progression there, but I'm showing you guys this because if you're sticking around to the end, I'm actually just gonna easily show you guys how much I made since I started monetizing. So this might take a second to calculate, but that is how much I've made. I haven't even looked at this. $68,638 that is ridiculous. I just want to say that is ridiculous for, you know, even doing this stuff full time, doing it for several years. That is literally a dream right there. I just want to say that's a dream. That's not like, you know, any kind of crazy amount of money. Like I said, if I made $6 per 1,000 views instead of $3 per 1,000 views, then I would make that in a year rather than multiple years. But these charts are pretty interesting to kind of look at as a YouTuber. This little spike right here, my first big spike, was my first viral video with 5 things to impress your drill sergeants. So that was the thing, that was the moment in time where I was like, wow, I can actually make a viral video. That's really cool. And then this gap right here is where I wasn't making videos because I was at Fort Gordon for 4 months. And then don't think my channel is dying because of this last drop off right here. This is just because it is January. And every time in January, YouTube money just falls off of a cliff. All right, so that's basically it for this off the wall how much money I made on YouTube in 2019 video. For those of you out there that are also looking to be military YouTubers, or you're a military YouTuber yourself and you're curious how much, you know, Matt Ward made on YouTube and my CPMs and stuff like that, now you know. So the mystery is over on how much I make on YouTube now. So it's about $3.60 on average throughout a year per 1,000 views. So if you look at one of my videos and you times the 1,000 views by $3.60, then that's roughly how much I'm gonna make off of that video. So that is gonna be it for this video. If you enjoyed it, hit that like button. That would be awesome. If you stick around for more of my videos that are Army related, hit that subscribe button. That would be even better. If you want to follow me on Instagram and Snapchat, my links are right here. I hope you guys have an amazing freaking day and a freaking great decade 2020, and I will see y'all later.